Savaged.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
We're having more technical problems. We live in the 21st century.
Savaged Unfiltered.
Not only should we not be supporting it, but we gave $30 billion. Did you know we gave $30 billion this weekend?
Your host, Michael Carter. Like a Hellcat.
Hey guys, what's going on? You know, I just got off of a live stream here with a fellow podcaster, and I must say, guys, bear with me on the background here as I'm doing this outside of my condo here in Florida. I decided to take this outside due to the nature of the content and the material with some family members inside that are young. And I believe that they should not hear this because it is absolutely appalling to even have them listen to this. And what is also appalling too is, you know, I'm listening to the material that this gentleman is spewing about the drag show dilemmas, children around this. And it seems to be like there's nothing wrong with it. There seems to be like, oh, let's just tuck it under the rug and not worry about it. Well, you know what's funny is that I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's a laughing fucking matter. I think it's sick. I think it's demented. And I think that these parents that are bringing these children to these clubs are exposing them to dangerous, poisonous toxins. And they shouldn't have children. Which I also want to bring up too, where people are constantly talking about this, whether it's on my show or whether it's on their show. And they actually, folks, you know what's sick? They actually say that it's wrong. But then when they go onto other shows, they simply have nothing to talk about it. Like they're left in silence. You start to see the true colors come out of this. I noticed there's a fellow podcaster, a good buddy of mine, Fraser Chronicles, buddy. Thank you very much. If you want to come into this panel here, greatly appreciate you. I like to get your feedback on this because I just got off of a show, buddy, and it is about the content that I've been literally trying to fight against for months. About this drag show dilemma. Sick, demented. But seems like America is just like literally tucking under the rug, like there's nothing wrong with it. You know, as a person of faith, as a person that does do a podcast such as yourself, I'd love to see your reactions to this. I was told that I have a lot of pain. There's something wrong. Yes, there is something wrong. I do have pain. I have pain for these little kids, man, that have to go through this crap with parents that don't give a shit. They don't care. One damn bit. It's sick. It really is. Fraser Chronicles, buddy, welcome to a special Savage Unfiltered live here on Instagram, buddy. I'm not sure if you've seen the show. I was actually streaming it live on my Twitter panel. Just got off the show here with Tommy Nation Politics. Had Sauce on there, one of my personalities that I have on the show. Buddy, I have to get your reactions to this, what we were talking about on the show with the latest law coming out of Florida, with Governor Ron DeSantis passing it, basically saying that it will become a felony of a crime of parents that do decide to bring their children into a club that does support drag. Do you support that at all, sir, or do you oppose it?
Well, I oppose it. I don't support anything like that. I believe that kids are innocent, and that kids should be left out of that type of stuff, just because the simple fact kids don't understand what they have going on. And me being a man of faith, I hold to the values of the Bible, and when those type of dilemmas are put into play, parents, uncles, whoever doing it, I think that they're confused. I think that they need help on that whole thing. And I think that when you put a kid into that environment, you're telling that kid that it's okay. And then when that kid gets older, they're going to groom other kids to do the same thing, and they're going to think it's okay as well. So what you do is you create a pattern of basically confused people.
I completely agree with you, and this is exactly what I was trying to point out to Mr. Tommy Nation roughly about 10 minutes ago as we concluded that stream. These children are as young as 5-6 years old, I'm told, some even approaching 10 years old. And it doesn't really necessarily mean the age. I'm just using that for example. But you make a point. These are children going into an environment, okay, where they have no idea what it's about.
Right.
Okay, all they see is fancy lights, maybe some loud music, and clothing that doesn't look normal to them.
Right.
Okay. I do believe, on a psychological note, that a child does have that type of presence in their mindset at that young age where they see a man, okay, wearing maybe a wig or a dress or with makeup on, and the questions that may come across their young mindset, like why first and foremost, they're probably questioning themselves, why am I here?
Savaged, unfiltered.
To the parents' choice. Well, they're right about that. It is up to the parents' choice. But what about that young child? What about their choice? Do they not have rights? Do they not have constitutional rights in this country?
Yep, they actually do. They have rights in this country, because if you look at a kid today, and it goes back to just what we were talking about in one of the podcasts, was just the whole juvenile justice system. They have rights. I mean, if they didn't have rights, then they couldn't stand trial.
Yeah, hold that thought. I want to bring sauce on this because bear with the raw cut here. I had to go outside because I do have a young family member in here that I do not want to have near this stream for the protection of them. I'm protecting them just like Ron DeSantis is protecting the children of Florida. So 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to bring Saucelin into the stream here. I first and foremost, not only do you have to apologize to myself, but I think you should apologize to your base because, sir, with all due respect, you let a liberal leftist literally run all over you on things that you are fighting for in this country with drag. Okay, it's disgusting. It's not right, and you know damn well that it's not right. My question for you is, why were you allowing this to literally let it happen? I just spoke to Fraser Chronicles here, and Fraser is a man of faith, okay, and he knows that this is wrong of what they're doing.
So I would like to apologize, number one. I feel like that I owe my support, my listeners, and your listeners as well as an apology. And I just don't, I'm lost. I pulled it up like a launcher on a windy day and I fell over. And I look like I just didn't have a strong backbone, and it was my fault, and I would like to apologize. That was not my best work.
Sauce, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, buddy. I'm not trying to bring faith into this, but what I'm trying to bring into this is this has nothing to do with ratings. This has nothing to do with views. This has nothing to do with people, anything, okay? This has to do with kids. This has to do with protecting the next youth of this generation. I constantly talk about this on my show. I mentioned this, Fraser Chronicles, into my book that's coming out literally. I mean, it came out today. My ebook just got released today on Amazon. Fraser Chronicles, Sosland, I cover this in my book severely. America's Political Warfare, Our Modern Civil War, okay? Because folks, gentlemen, folks that are listening to this, okay, we are in a political warfare. We are allowing the liberal machine to dictate our society, and if we allow them the floor on this ridiculous, out of whack nonsense that should be squashed, because it has to be squashed. In order to save this country, folks, we have to squash this. We have to save our generation of youth. This youth is being poisoned, toxined by dangerous content that they have no idea what they're getting into. This is dangerous.
Yep.
You know, Fraser, I want to get your comment on this. I spoke to another podcaster that's affiliated with Tommy Nation that goes by the name of Jamar Jabari, and basically said that when he was a child, he does not remember any of what is going on now. I labeled a question to him, and he could not answer me clearly. What I said to him was, the reason why things weren't going on 30 years ago, even in my generation, is because, yes, we had gay, we had lesbian, we had LGBT plus in the 80s and 90s, folks, goes back even to the early 1900s. I mean, but here's the thing, Fraser, they respected society. They respected the way of life. They weren't trying to manipulate the youth. I mean, do you not agree?
I agree. You know, many years back, a lot of the stuff that they have approved today and society has accepted today was something that you would never hear about. You know, it was locked away as if it was locked in a dungeon. You never heard about it. People live their life. Today, it's just more of people just losing respect. You have a lot of weak people today. When you go to protests, you hear everybody's together, but you separate them, and you got the weak guys and the weak women who will falter. You know, 1 minute they're with the crowd, they're chanting, yeah, they leave the kids out, and kids have rights, and kids shouldn't be dealt, done a bad hand. But then put them by themselves, they can't handle, what's going to happen. So it's one of those things where you have to have like Saul said earlier, he kind of didn't have a backbone. It's not put you on blast, but you got to have a backbone.
Yep. And
you got to stand for what you're going to stand for. If somebody can't respect what you have to say, then you either tell them, hey, since you can't respect what I have to say, I got to go. And you leave it at that. And then let them make their own decision. If they want to come back and apologize, hey, they come back and apologize. Yeah. But, it's just...
Here's the thing. I don't mean to cut you off, but I agree with you. You need a backbone. I mean, if you don't have a backbone, respectfully, you're a fake. You're a fraud to me. Okay.
Exactly.
Listen, guys. I could be very savage. I could be very unfiltered. But this has nothing to do with savage. This has nothing to do with unfiltered. This has nothing to do with my persona, my personality, my character of a podcaster. Okay. What I showed on Tommy Nation today, folks. Okay. Was real sincerity of how I feel about this topic, okay? This is sick and demented. And you know what I got at the end of it? I got laughs, I got goofs, I got things that these two idiots, these two goons of podcasters have no idea what the hell they're literally talking about. Because if they knew what was really going on, Fraser, if they knew what was really going on, they would be really, really pissed off like I am.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
These are children that are literally being exposed to content that they have no idea what it's about.
Exactly.
And
20 years from now, hold on, guys. 20 years from now, that child that got exposed to that content is going to grow up in a society where they're now going to be either gay, lesbian, queer, transsexual, and then people question, like, why is that man gay? Why is that woman a lesbian? Why is that guy a queer? Why is he a transsexual or a transvestite or this and that? Well, because maybe mommy and daddy, when he was 5 years old, brought him to that club when they shouldn't have brought him to that club. You don't say. You don't say. Oh, you think they were just born like that? No, they were exposed by a mental illness of a parent. This is what I was trying to bring over to Tommy Nation and Jabbar Javari, Vok Podcast, and they were clueless, Frazier. They were clueless, Sauce, and you know what's really sad and twisted? That these people are so manipulated by the media, and you know what they were like? You know what they were saying, Frazier? Show me the proof. Show me the proof. The proof is right there. Open up your damn eyes and stop being the blinded sheep of this nation.
Exactly.
Start seeing it.
Oh yeah.
Fox 5 Orlando, Fox 5 Miami, Fox 5 Tampa. Plug in. Hashtag today. Just put out articles where they had what was called Drag Queen Christmas here in Florida.
Oh wow.
Governor Ron DeSantis was right there to step in. And then and then I hear this, well, it's okay because these children are allowed to go in it because with DCF, it doesn't pertain to illegal narcotics or drugs. The last time I checked, alcohol is a drug. Even though it's legal, it's still, you know what's illegal? You want to know what's illegal? The children that are around alcohol, that is illegal because you're surrounding it around a minor. There's the illegal. Boom.
Yep.
So the sauce. If you want to brush up on your CBS or your child protection laws, if you surround a minor around a narcotic, it is illegal to them because, for one, they're under the age of 18, they're under the age of 21 to drink, they're under the age of 18 to smoke. So everything that's happening in that club, some states, not every state. Remember, Frazier? I don't know if Sash remembers, but back in the day, you were allowed to smoke in bars.
Yeah.
A lot of states, a lot of cities have banned that now.
Why is that?
There's reasons behind it. The reasons behind it is because they did it on a safety sake. Because everybody's wondering why they banned cigarette smoking in clubs and bars. Well, little history lesson for some of the liberals out there that are brainwashed, that don't pay attention. And they think that Michael Gardner is full of shit and doesn't know his own history or his own homework. I'm a very highly intelligent man, and I surround myself around a lot of well-known sources in my life. Okay? Here's one thing. Cigarettes were banned in most states due to the lack of coincidence of the mindset from that individual participating in alcoholic activities. When you are drunk and impaired, your vision is impaired. You cannot contrast with what's going on in your environment. So when you go to light up, you're like, oh shit, you put the cigarette down. What happens next? I'm using layman's terms, folks. The bar might go up in flames. There's liability right there. So let's state the standards here. Why Ron DeSantis banned and put this into place as a law in Florida. Okay? One, the child is not 21 years old, so he cannot be, or she or he cannot be around alcoholic activities. Number two, The child is not yet of 18 years old. So just maybe, for instance, maybe one of these drag clubs have what's called a cigar bar. You're allowed to have cigars. Wow. There is the illegal content. There is the illegal narcotics. If Tommy Nation would allow me to have the floor, I would basically explain to him, which I know he's probably going to watch this repeat here live on Instagram. There is my proof, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, Ron DeSantis is really not a bad guy at all, isn't he?
Right. You hit it on the nail. You know, the narcotics, and when it comes down to the kids, you know, kids they're not able to distinguish what's right and what's wrong at a particular age until, you know, their parents teach them. If your parents are dragging you into a drag place where alcohol is being served, those type of things, the parent has an issue. And I think that when the parent acknowledges the issue, then they can obviously go get help. It's not until they acknowledge that they have this issue, this problem. The governors that you know down in Florida, he's helping you guys out by saying, hey, these things need to be taken out. This is why this is out of the arena per se. A lot of jobs now, you can't even smoke within 25, 50 feet of a building because of all the liabilities that insurance companies are fighting. They don't want to pay for fire. They don't. It has cost them so much money. So it's so much that goes into play that a lot of people are not aware of. And I'm going to say this. They're not aware of because they don't care. Because if you go to court, that's when everybody starts caring about all the laws, all the rules. Oh, I didn't know that. Just because you did not know does not exempt you from those laws.
You know, you make an excellent point, and you know what it is that they thought here that I was put in a corner. No, I wasn't put in a corner. I think it was the other way around. I think I was putting them in the corner because every single time I would go to question them, it was like, well, what about children being exposed to, you know, places like Hooters and this and that? Okay, listen, come on. Are we going to go to that avenue?
Right.
Like you're clearly avoiding the question because you don't have an answer for it. You know damn well I'm right. You know damn well that this is wrong, and this and that. Before I go into this, I have a comment coming in from Cookbook 2010 saying, "Stop forcing your views on others." I don't think it has me. I don't think it has anything to do with me forcing my views on others. This has nothing to do with others. This has to do with our children. It's always about our children. We're protecting their children because the children at a young age, they don't know how to protect themselves. They're not an adult. They don't have a backbone. So if you want to think I'm thinking about putting my views and forcing my views on others, come into the show. Give me your comment on this. I'd love to hear it because it has nothing to do with others. It has to do with children.
Exactly. Yeah, and I support that.
Because the moment that you have to step out because you have to protect your niece, that should tell you something. You know, the moment that you had to step out because it was getting too you can say in the kids, it was getting too dangerous. The conversation was getting too dangerous for the kids over here. And that's what influenced.
That's why I'm outside on my porch because, you know, Tommy is basically saying, I'm sorry, Michael, that this is personal. It becomes personal when children
can hear
this and are being exposed to it. I'm a father of going almost on a 16-year-old daughter. She's almost reaching the age of 16, okay? She's 15 right now. My daughter is almost 16, okay? I'm protecting my daughter right now because she's at that age where she is going to maybe experiment with different things, and I want to make sure that she is not manipulated.
Right. And she doesn't.
I'm protecting it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I want to go on to the cookbook, whatever the comment was. Number one, there's a difference between when you force your view on somebody. There's a difference between that. You know, when you're forcing your view on, like for instance, if I were to say, in the church and stuff, you have options. You can step out. If you don't want to go to church, you can step out. You don't have to go to church. But the moment you're forcing your views, and there's a difference, because you aren't forcing your views. We aren't forcing our views. We're just we're reporting, and we have factual basis on it. It comes to protection of kids. That's not forcing your views. That's telling, hey, here's what's up. You need to be aware of this. That's just called doing our job, or doing your job. There's no difference. There's a difference between forcing your view and going out and protecting the public and making aware of the problem. So cookbook.
I agree with that. And before you go into there, I want to thank Edge and Chris for joining here, buddy. If you want to come on camera and give your views on this very heated topic, you're more than welcome. Just hit that request button and I'll accept it. But here's the thing. I noticed Cookbook basically going live and learn, live and let. What does it say? Live and let live. I guess he meant to say live and learn. I'm thinking that's what he meant. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think that's what he had meant to say.
But
live and learn.
Though. There's a difference. Live and learn. You're a father. I don't have kids. I don't want my kids to experience. I don't want my kids to learn the hard way. I don't want my kids to learn the hard way. I don't want your kids going through a difficult time. That's why we are trying to educate them, say, no, don't make these mistakes. We're educating them so you don't have to learn it the hard way. We want to make you learn it the easy way, and here's what's the easy way. Am I correct on that, Michael, or what?
You're correct, but my other question is, Sus, I'm getting a different side of you here now on the show, and I questioned you on Tommy here, why you were in crickets, okay, with this whole thing.
So the reason why I was on crickets was because the reason why is because I don't like confrontation. And when there's confrontation, there's this instinct of me that it happens when I have to smile because it tries to divert it away. And that's the thing, is I don't like confrontation because I'm not that kind of a person,
Well, there's a thing between confrontation and there's a thing between standing up for what you believe in. And this is exactly what people should stand up for. You know it's wrong. You know it's disgusting. You know that the only way around this is to kill it, bury it, before it can come back. Does everybody remember the movie The Night of the Living Dead, right? Or better yet, maybe Fraser can reference this. Him and I are close in age. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Yep.
Buffy always had to kill that lead vampire, right? The guy that was the one that played by Pee Wee Herman, right?
Adobe Acrobat Studio, your new foundation. Use PDF spaces to generate a presentation. Grab your docs, your permits, your moves. AI levels up your pitch, gets it in a groove. Choose a template with your timeless cool. Come on now, let's flex those tools. Draft, design, deliver, make it sing. AI builds the deck so you can build that thing. Do that, do that, do that with Acrobat.
Learn more at adobe.com/do-that-with-acrobat.
Right.
Yep.
He was really the really bad one. And she was like, damn it, I got to get rid of him. Because if I don't, he's going to come back. And he's going to come back. He's going to come back. Or let alone, this is like a cockroach, right? You don't kill that cockroach. Well, there's going to be a lot more cockroaches that are going to form over. They're going to have babies, and they're going to be all over your house. And they're going to, and it's disgusting. You're going to have them all over your food. That's what this is going. This is what it's boiling down to. This is becoming like a cockroach. Okay, that the more we allow these cockroaches to seed their problems, the more it becomes a bigger problem.
Oh yeah.
I see we're getting a lot of people coming in. Thank you, Dudes That Talk Rock podcast, very much for joining us. We're talking about the latest here with, the drag queen scenario. Governor Ron DeSantis becoming one of the first governors to to basically put law in effect of parents deciding to bring their children into drag shows that have alcoholic beverages, possibly narcotics. And the liberal mindset, it's okay, but we conservatives, we know that it's wrong. We know that by bringing these children in, we are basically poisoning them and creating toxins to manipulate them, knowing that it's an easy way to manipulate these children. Frazier, this is a heated topic. I had to come on. I thank you for joining here. I really wish you were part of Tommy Nation because a lot of people, I don't know. I think they're just blind. They don't see the bigger picture in this. They see a lot of laughter and a lot of I think we stuff like that.
Misguided.
Many, and I just want to chime in if possible. Many people that don't see anything wrong with these things, with kids going to drags, those whole little holes in the walls, I call them. Those people that engage in that type of stuff or that type of behavior, they have an issue with themselves. It's a personality issue. You can call it personality disorder. You could call it a mental illness. They have issues with themselves. There's no way I'm going to take my kids to a drag show for a reading, for them to read to them, for them to do anything. Because the simple fact is, one, I don't allow that in my house. And this is my house. So I can allow who I want and who I don't want. And just won't allow that in my house. I won't allow that in my kids' life. Now, I would tell my kids, hey, in the world, you're going to have people who are gay, who bisexual, transgender. They, this is who they want to be. But the reality is they're what they were born. I don't care what scientists say. I don't care. It's a business. And if people haven't realized this is why your Congress, your congressional leaders are okay with it, all these people are okay with it because it's a business. It's not because they're accepting you. They're realizing that it's the dollar that controls them. They have all their stocks in pharmaceuticals. They have their stocks in healthcare. So what's going to bring them the dollar? You going down there to get these changes is going to bring them the dollar. You going to continuously get medical care is going to bring them money. And if you cannot see these things, there's something wrong with you living in this society.
Well, here's a question for you. Do you think we have a huge problem with mental illness in this country. I think United States ranks like the second or third worst country in the world that suffers huge amounts of mental illness, depression, anxiety, you name it, folks, it's here in this nation. Do you think with the amount of high mental illness that we have in this country, which I just looked at a report, it's at now a 40-year high. We haven't had this problem since 40 years ago we were having this issue, and we thought we solved it then. Now we're literally repeating history again. Do you think by this latest drag trend of what's going on in this nation, do you think it's going to hijack the mental illness to extreme heights?
Yes, I do. The reason I say that is because if an individual has an issue and we're continuously playing on the issue, we're not helping the issue, but we're continuously playing on it. We're allowing them to go through life with this mental illness. We're not trying to help them. We're not trying to make them better. It's going to continuously rise, because if one person is, and matter of fact, if you got two friends, one of them is going to affect the other. One of them's going to come up and say, hey, I'm the stronger person. You're going to follow me and listen to me. Another person's going to say, well, okay, I'm going to follow you. When another friend comes into the picture, they're both going to influence this person to be just like both of them. And it's going to keep going until you have a strong-minded person say, hey, whoa. You have to have your own mindset. You have to change your mindset. And we have to do things a lot better than what we're doing.
Frazier, you folks, the ones that are, 1 second, Sauce, the gentleman that you're listening to right now is Frazier Chronicles podcast, known as the Preacher Man. You can hear him all over the place. You make excellent points, sir. You really do. I want to thank people that are coming in. I know this video is going viral right now, so thank you very much for viewing us here on Instagram Live. I normally don't do Instagram Lives, but I do mention this in my book that is out now here, America's Political Warfare, Our Modern Civil War, which is available in ebook format. The soft cover will be available tomorrow on newsstands everywhere, including Amazon.com. Now, here's my next question here. Before Sas jumps in here, I want to get Fraser Chronicles' viewpoint on this. I mentioned something with Tommy Nation before here on what was it? Oh, with the CBS, Child Protective Services, or some states in Florida we call it DCF. A lot of different states, narrow it down different things. Department of Children and Families they're known for. Sas basically referenced it, brought the laws into it, which I thank Sas for bringing that in. But here's my question here. We have Department of Children and Families for a reason, okay? I question this to Tommy of why they should be brought in to basically try to control the out-of-control chaos that's going on right now in the drag community, okay? And the reason why they need to be brought in, okay, is there is a huge amount of child abuse being taken advantage by these radical parents. Some parents are of transgender. Some parents are gay. Some parents are lesbian. I have no problem with the parents being that way. I have no problem even with individuals being that way. If you want to be gay, that's, hey, like my mother said, whatever floats your boat. But I come from a traditional family, okay? Here's my question. Fraser, do you agree that Child Protective Services should come into play to try to control this problem we have?
Yes. And the reason I say that is because that's what their job is, to protect kids from abusers, from people who want to hurt them. That's what the Child Protective Service is. They're a protector for the kids. When you don't allow them to come in or step in, then you're now taking the rights from that kid and giving that kid no rights. Because someone who wants to come in and help them, protect them, and everybody, we got all these animal lovers out here. If you go out here and kill a doggone, a squirrel, people will get mad. A rabbit, they'll get mad. But it's like we're changing the narrative now. Kids are less important. Animals are more important. And we haven't, when we're protecting an animal instead of children, that's human life. Those are the ones that's going to come after us when we're old and if in a nursing home, if that's what we decide to be, or we're in our home health care. They're going to be the ones to take care of us. And they can't take care of us if they're not doing well themselves.
There was a quote, I believe it was from Ted Cruz, or I believe it was from Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz says, the liberals are laughing about this right now. But let's fast forward 20 years from now when we have a really, really bad problem with the mental illness. What's the liberals going to say then when they have to start paying with their tax dollars into programs that Republicans put forward saying that we must pay a separate tax to control the high amount of mental illness caused by parental abuse? What's going to happen then? What's their response then going to be? It's all funny games now. But who's going to be laughing 20 years from now when we have a real pandemic, folks? And I'm not talking about some type of ridiculous cough or sneeze that was developed in a political lab somewhere. I'm talking about a real pandemic. A real pandemic. What's going to happen then?
I think
it needs to be stopped.
I think what's really going to happen, I'm sorry to cut you off, but what I really think is going to happen is you're going to have a big issue. You're going to have people blaming one another. You're going to create a bunch of division. And I hate to say it, that's what this country has had. So much division, no togetherness, and it's it has gotten out of hand and it's outrageous. I just think that in 20 years it's going to be it's just going to be big.
You know, here's my question here and with all due respect, I want to put this this statement out to the black communities of America. You know, former President Barack Obama ran on fighting against you know, what's literally going on right now. I know he ran against that in his early campaign. Where's Barack Obama on this? How come Barack Obama is not seeing that there's a problem? What's that?
He's nowhere to be found besides encouraging and enabling bad behavior and blaming the other side, blaming President Trump for everything. I mean,
so if Barack Obama, okay, hopefully Barack Obama can possibly see this video or whatever. My question for you, sir, is, as a fellow patriotman of this country, how come you're not stepping in? How come you're not trying to kill this issue, what we have? Sir, we have a war in this country that is dividing our citizens. We have governors such as Ron DeSantis that is stepping up to his citizens because we have a president in the Oval Office that can care two shits about what's going on. We see laughs and giggles from politicians when they know damn well it's wrong, but yet they address the issue. They're more worried about sending money to Ukraine, billions upon billions of dollars that are being flown over on freight cars, pallets of your money, my money, Sas's money, Fraser Chronicles money. Oh, we have to worry about them, but why are we not worrying about our nation?
Yeah.
It's little kids, man. They're being poisoned.
Yep.
Wrong.
Exactly. I think.
What? Yeah, one second. What happens if that little boy or that little girl grows up, starts questioning to his mother, now at the age of 30 years old, 40 years old, just using for an example, folks. Don't hold it to me. But this is the reality of it. What happens when that little boy or that little girl, now a grown man or a grown woman, you want the proof, Tommy Nation? You want the proof, liberal machine, leftist nuts of this nation? Here's the proof. You don't need a scientific data sheet from some stupid media group to explain this to you. You need common sense. What happens when that little boy, a little girl at the age of 30, 40 years old, now a grown man or a grown woman, goes against their parents, hopefully they're still alive then, and goes to that parent that put them in that predicament and says, why am I gay? Why am I a lesbian? Why am I queer? Why am I a transgender? Why? Is that parent going to have the answer then? Now probably at the age of 60 or 70 to that child, now a grown man or a grown woman? What are they going to say? What are they going to say? Here's something raw. You want something raw, folks? This is what the media doesn't say to you. What's the parent's response going to be to that child that was exposed to that drag show 30 years ago? Are they going to have a response? No, you know what they're going to have? They're going to have regrets, and they're going to feel bad for what they put their child through. There's the proof, Tommy Nation. There's the proof, liberal leftists. Wake up. You're killing our nation. Fraser, I think you were about to say something. But...
Yeah, I just think, and you know, a lot of this stuff that, especially the drag stuff that's going on, is the government, politicians, they don't have an answer for it. Their out is let these individuals do what they want to do, let the kids go where they want to go, and they can tell you in many years when they were talking about, you know, taking the discipline out of the homes, you know, that was their way of saying, hey, wake up. We're coming in with a new age. We're coming in with new rules. We're coming in with new laws. Because if we take the discipline out of the home, then guess what happens? You have chaos. And that's what they want. They built chaos. We fell into it. The parents, and I'm not going to say, I say we, but I'm saying the parents that are indulging in this stuff, the trends, the drags, they're all, you know, a part of that undisciplined type lifestyle. You know, they're indulging in drugs, and you can't tell me they're not, because it's just like prostitution. Prostitutes indulge in drugs to continue that high and continue to keep going. So when you're dealing with these people, don't allow yourself to get so wrapped up into what these politicians say, because these politicians behind closed doors are protecting their families, whether you want to believe it. They're protecting their families from all of this, but they're telling the world, yeah, go ahead and do what you want to do, because again, it's to protect their interests. So when they're dead and gone, guess what happens with that money? It goes down to their kids. When their kids become politicians, they bring in the same agenda, and that's how you keep history going to repeat itself. And you have parents out here who, one, they're not even in their own kid's life, but they will drag them down to these places that they don't need to go, because that's what parents do now. They're more of a friend than a parent. And that's what we have. We have a lot of parents who want to be their kid's friend.
Yep.
We don't want to tell the kid wrong. The teachers have to deal with the kids, and they have to deal with the parents. Because if the kid does something in your class wrong, the parent comes and gets on you, not the kid, for the wrongness. And then what do? They drag the kids down to a drag show, and they don't explain to them what is going on. These kids have to figure it out on their own. And by the time they figure it out, guess what these kids are doing? They're now the drags.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to try to thank as much people as coming in. I noticed some people coming in. True Blue, thank you very much for coming in. Like I said, folks, the video literally going viral on Instagram. Bane0929, thanks very much for joining. Leave the comments. Here's the thing, Frazier. I agree with you. There's no discipline. When there's no discipline, you literally welcome a world of acceptance to that child. And this is what they're doing. They're welcoming a world of acceptance. They're giving that child freedom to anything they want to do. Okay? And I said this on Tommy Nation, now going on over an hour ago, that, you know what? Maybe there's the problem there. Yes, we live in a free nation, but maybe the problem is that the freedom that they're bringing in is that they're hijacking that freedom to basically, you know, get away with doing it. Okay? And I question this to Tommy, I question this to them, and their answer always is, well, we have a freedom of choice. We have a freedom to do this and freedom to do that and freedom. That's the thing. They're hijacking the Constitution. That's what's going on here. It's literally a political war amongst a political war. Okay? They're using politics for all of this. All of this. Us, if you want to jump in, buddy, you can jump in.
So, number one, I looked up on the WHO. So right now, you mentioned the countries with the most mental illness. China is number one because they're the most populated people, and then United States is number two for overall. And it's interesting because the drug and alcohol abuse, according to WHO, you have America as number one with the biggest problem. And that's it. And China's number two. Depression, and that also is United States is number three in that, but then you have anxiety, which is America is at number one. See, so this is according to the WHO, which is the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
And that's actually, I'm on their website right now. So the interesting part to this whole thing is I'm finding out is that it doesn't take very long to do your research. Because what are you going to do when, you know, of course you're going to have a lot of people that are going to enable poor behavior, because your doctors want you to get diagnosed with mental illness. It's like these drag. I mean, realistically, it's like the government is enabling bad behavior, and the government's like, okay, you know what? If we can scar this person, if we can scar this little toddler at 3.5 years old, we can bring him into our, we can bring him as our customer now forever. And then once he gets older, like 13, or like if you go up in Wisconsin and Eau Claire,
Hold that
you bring
thought, Sas. Yeah, hold that thought. I have a good friend that joins us here from New York. Be the Difference Clothing. You want to come in? By all means, come in. Awesome individual. I'm sure she has a lot to talk about here. I'm not sure if this is a problem that she's seen up in New York. But go ahead, Sas. You can talk here.
So the DPS though, like how you fix that? What DeSantis is doing, that he's going after the DPS. He's correcting it. He's getting the Democrats out, and he's bringing people that have a somewhat of a conscience, and not going to like bring in, because in Wisconsin, you can report, like, you know, Claire, there's this family where this toddler or this teenage girl reported their parents to DPS because she wasn't allowed to dress up like a cat, and that's considered abuse. So the whole thing is becoming rear-ended, ass-handed, or ass-rear-ended, or something like that metaphor, that phrase. It's becoming and that's a problem we have in DPS, and that's where we have, where now it's changing to where if they don't allow you to be whatever gender you want, then they can report you, which is completely backwards, and that's distorting it. What are your thoughts?
So can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Sauce, I wasn't on that show, but I do want to ask.
I was pretty bad,
because I know it was said that you were kind of different on that show, you know. So if you don't mind, can you bring me up to date on what you were saying, if that's possible, before?
Well, what happened was that I was pulling up. I mean, what happened was I was pulling up stats, and then there was a lot of over talking. There was a lot of over, you know, it was Michael was trying to, I told Michael, I messaged him, I said, you're killing it, and it's like in a good way, you know. But then there was also, you had Jamar, and then you had Tommy Nation just trying to, like, they were like overpowering, and I'm like, that's why I folded up like a lawn chair, and I just said, and instead my stupid smile came out. That was just, it was pretty bad. That's what was happening.
So you never said anything toward like your thoughts on it, like you agree or disagree, like, so none of that came out?
What do you? I don't think I said anything, because I was.
Sash, what I'm trying to say is, the reason why I was getting upset with Sas Frazier is Sas has a show on both of a spiritual and a political. He does devotion, and then he also does political. Okay, now we get into topics both on a political. We do sports. Sometimes we mash it up. Okay, sometimes we get into heavy political viewpoints. Now, I seen a different side of Sas on this show, and I'm questioning Sas, like, even towards the end of it. You know, I'm very, very concerned right now, Sas, because when we talk on my show, you're a different person. You have different views. You share the same views as a conservative. You know it's wrong. But now you have two leftist liberals, radical, if I may add, now on this topic, that are spewing nonsense that you know is wrong. And yet, the stuff that you say on my show and your show, you're literally, like, not saying. You're not voicing what you know is wrong. So I'm, like, questioning, like, why is he allowing this to happen? Like, Sash, you had an opportunity, man, to voice this in there, and you let it, like, just go right out. Now, it has nothing to do with views. It has nothing to do with ratings, man. But what it has to do with is, if you're fighting for a country and you're fighting to destroy the poison, because I constantly hear, with all due respect, Sas, I'm not putting you on the spot, buddy. I'm trying to help you and save you, pal. Because I like you, man. I love you like a brother. All right. an older brother, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you're constantly talking about that you're upset about where our country's going. Not to get personal, but you flew from what the hell was going on in your own country to come to a new country now that is now doing the same thing that you flew from.
Yeah.
So if you knew what you escaped from your prior country to a country that's now showing the same demise, I think as a person such as your caliber, you're you're like the perfect candidate to voice that.
Yeah.
You know,
that was
his show is, hold on. His show gets a lot of listening base. And for a person such as your caliber, you had that opportunity to show even liberals out there that what they're doing to the children is wrong. And you literally you flushed like an empty toilet with nothing, you know?
And I'm only saying that, I only asked that question because I know me and you we spoke offline through message. And you said what you were trying to do, you know, with school and things, different things like that. And I went through ministry. I am in ministry. And these are things that you're going to face. You can't back down. And the only reason I'm throwing it out there is because, like Savage Unfiltered said, hey, you know, we're like brothers, all right? And when you back down or when you don't speak when you have that opportunity, you may never get that opportunity again. You know what I'm saying? And somebody might need to hear something you have to say to kind of get on board. So say what you mean what you say. Don't worry about how people think or view you. That's out the window. Because in this world, you're going to have people who don't agree with you. It happens. Yeah. You got people that don't agree with what we're talking about. It happens. Why? Because people have their own mindset. They think their own way, and they think one way. Most people don't think with the open mind. So when they come over here, just like earlier, that was a comment, don't force your views on people, right? That's the key. I've heard that saying so many times. And you know why you hear it? It's because those are the people, and I mean no disrespect, but those are the same individuals. When things go wrong, they be the first one to say, oh, I knew this was going to happen. But when the things are going the way they go, they're all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Sauce, one second, Frazier. Sauce, we're not attacking you, buddy. We're trying to help you and save you, because here's the thing. You may not understand this or realize, but you know that like a movement that's going on right now in this country, which is a toxic movement. It's a movement that should have never started, okay? A movement that was started like back in the 40s, 50s, hell, even the 60s and 70s, okay? There were activists back then, just like you, me, and Frazier, okay, that put a stop to this, okay? The only way it was born again, okay, or like Christians say, right, came back, or I don't know how you guys say, like what do they say when Jesus came back?
He rose.
He was resurrected. There we go. There's the words. Okay, I'm not a Christian guy, guys. I want to say that on the air here on Instagram Live. I'm spiritual, but I don't practice religion. No offense, no disrespect to those who do. I respect that, but that's just who I am. But here's the thing: the only way that this disease, this poison, this toxin towards this children, because this happened once before, folks. It was resurrected back into society through modern liberals. We had liberals in the 60s and 70s. They weren't as radicalized. They were resurrected back into society to hijack things to extreme levels. That's how it was brought back. Now, in order to kill it, the way, I'm going to do a little goof here, the way to kill it like our hippie parents or maybe hippie grandparents did back then is to have people like you, me, and Frazier speak against these people that can care less about this country. Now, we think that Tommy Nation and, you know, other folks his caliber, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, they may mean well. They may be nice people, but deep down in their gut, do they really care about this nation? Do they really care about anything? No, they don't. Because all they're in it for is fame and fortune. I can care less what I make on my podcast. I can care less how many books I sell from this latest book I just came out with. It's about saving our children. It's us. We had an opportunity. The more we let things go, the more we're failing. The more we're letting them get the upper hand. You know? Because at the end of the day, words have meaning behind them, folks. And when you don't deliver by your words, well, people are not going to take you serious.
Exactly.
And that's what's going to happen. Yeah. You know?
It's a learning lesson. You know, it's something to always just think about, be mindful of. We're just throwing it out there. One is because we're here to protect you. You know, we're a group of friends. And when we're all together, just like if someone was to come on right now and just, you know, just bash us if they wanted to. At the end of the day, that's their opinion. I'm going to respect their opinion. Yeah. And at the same time, they have to respect mine. Because if I respect yours, you got to respect mine. It's a two-way street. You know, respect is both ways. So that's why I'm just throwing it out there. Because if I was wrong, I would hope someone correct me, check me.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The reason why I was getting upset is that, you know, hey, listen, I agree with Frazier. You know, people are going to agree with things and disagree. But when you bring it into a personal level where you say, I'm sorry, Michael, maybe you should go get some help. Maybe this is affecting you. That's personal, brother. Now you're getting personal. Now I have to step outside of my own personal residence because I have children, not my children, but other people's children around that are hearing this, okay? Yeah. And they're going to question me like, why is that mean man on the camera saying all that stuff? These are comments, folks, that you'll probably hear from children that are in these clubs. Mommy, why am I here? Daddy, why are you bringing me here? Like, what's going on? Yeah. Last question here for you. We're going to close it out. I do want to thank the gentlemen coming on here, Frazier and Sash, for giving their time and effort because this is a very heated topic. And like I said, this has nothing to do with views, ratings, or publicity, guys. This has everything to do with saving our country and saving our next youth of generation because they're being attacked by a machine at a very large level. Frazier, I have a question for you. I had a question come up to me from Tommy stating that where is the evidence and where is your proof with these children being exposed? Now, I know you reside from a very large city there in North Carolina of Charlotte, okay, and there's other cities, Raleigh. I'm very aware of those cities. My father lived in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, on the eastern part of the state. Now, in that area, are you having issues with what we're discussing right now?
Yes. Yes. We're having issues across the state with it.
Hold that thought, Frazier. Now, if I have any liberals that may listen to this or leftists listening to this, I hate using that term, but you guys, you have to be labeled that way because of the way you're behaving now in society. Okay, you wanted proof, you wanted evidence from somebody. I didn't talk to Frazier before I started this. He's not reading off of a script. He's not reading off of a prepared statement I asked from him. He's giving his own personal testimony over the show and his own personal experience. So go ahead. I just wanted to throw that out, Frazier.
Okay.
Go ahead, buddy.
We're dealing with it, and we have parents who are against it. You have parents who are for it. You have a lot of things going on, if it makes sense, where you got these drags who want to go to kids' schools, read books. You got drags who want to come around and, do makeup, whatever the case may be. But you have parents who legitimately still are in control of their household, and they're in control of their kid's decision. Because the kid can't make a decision. If you put a kid in a car, you tell them to drive down the street, they're going to wreck because they don't know how to drive. They need direction. So you have these people who are out here who that's their lifestyle. They want to be a drag. And again, if you're a grown adult, you want to do that, by all means, go do it. But don't drag some kids who don't know. They're very innocent in the whole situation. They don't know. Into an arena where you guys just turn up and do what you want to do. You're a man who's dressed as a woman. What are you telling that kid? You're telling that kid that even though you're a man, be confused like me and do what I do. You're telling that young girl who wants to be a young lady to go out here and mess her body up to be a man. That's not what she is. But because you have people who want to be so much of an influence, which drags, they want to be influenced. The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, that whole community wants to be an influence. And they're doing it because you have weak people who don't speak up, who don't say that's wrong. And guess what they do? They continuously play the narrative and continuously keep doing the same thing. Because you want to know why? Because the biggest thing they're going to say is this right here. We need rights. That's all they're going to say. As if the Constitution does not cover a man and a woman. As if the Constitution just governs you if you want to be male or you want to be female. It covers everybody.
Here's my next question. I was told by by Tommy here, and that I'm for big government. You must be for big government if you want child protective services involved here. Has nothing to do with big government.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It has nothing to do with the government.
The next question was, well, kids are stupid. Kids are stupid, huh? No, kids are very smart, and kids know the difference between right and wrong. Even kids today that are growing up in radical environments still know right and wrong. I know people 20 minutes down the road, downtown Orlando, literally the hood, that are living in Section 8 housing, government assisted programs, kids that are growing up in filth, poverty, disgusted environments. I mean, guys, I don't have to paint the picture. You kind of know where I'm going with this. Those children still know right and wrong. They know where their mom or dad or maybe their uncle is going 10 o'clock at night. They know where they're going. That drug run, you don't think kids don't know what that is? They may not know what it means to it fully, but they know that it's wrong to an extent. Why is my uncle going down the road at 10 o'clock at night? This is exactly what I'm trying to point out.
Yeah.
This is what is so wrong with our society. The liberal, at this point, I would hope to think that they understand that what these people are doing with the children is wrong. But yet again, oh, it's okay. Because they have to come up with a stupid response. What about parents that bring children to Hooters? First and foremost, when was the last time I seen a child that tipped a Hooters waitress with a $1 bill like they were at a strip club?
I don't really see kids at Hooters, though. That's another thing, is when people go to Hooters, it's normally their guys, like guy best friends and adult men, right?
I'm going to say something here. You know, they may be bringing their kids to Hooters, okay? But common folks, people like me or maybe Frazier that have children, I don't know. I don't think myself or even Frazier here, you know, would bring their children to Hooters.
No.
That separates the maturity with that. You know, again, you know, talking to this other podcaster, like, okay, if you're gonna give me a rebuttal like that, give me at least a better rebuttal, because I don't know, man. I'm 40 years old. I'm not gonna bring. My daughter's now 16. It's, you know, but I'm almost 16. But if I had a child at 5 or 6 years old, I don't really think my first choice is going to go to Hooters with them and have a burger. You know, I think we're going to go to like a McDonald's or probably like somewhere that's more family oriented. You know what that is? That shows like the maturity, but that also shows the morale, the family traditional way of doing things. You know.
Yeah.
On a non-radicalized way, you know? I don't. Yeah. So, I left both of you guys silent, guys, but, you know, it has to be discussed.
Yep.
You want to give any last thoughts here, Sauce? I know you've been silent, and I know Sauce is probably saying, oh, Michael's mad at me. I'm not mad at you, buddy. I'm just a little disappointed, that's all.
No, I would say I'm not disappointed. I would say I'm more aware of things. You know, this is more of a learning experience. Especially because, you know, just the two of you guys, it was more of a learning / maturing moments. Saying, okay, you know what, you're in this big boy world now. You are officially in college. And especially in college, if you're going to, like, if you know, in ministry and stuff, if you're going to say all these things, you have to back it up. And if you're a pastor like Frazier is, I mean, I would have to get used to people coming at me like all the time. And I just can't say, I can't go in my nook, and I can't go in my mom's basement and, you know, find my blankie and hide under it and pretend boogie monsters don't exist. You know.
Sash, you know what the thing is, buddy? You're 24 years old, bud. It's your generation that can make the difference.
And
this is why I'm fighting every single day on this damn show. That's why I'm starting to write books now. It's your generation that's going to make the difference. I already paved the way for you. Frazier already paved the way. I keep on saying Frazier. No, it's not the guy from Seinfeld, guys. It's, you know, yeah, just goof, you know. We gentlemen here, Sas, we paved the way for you. Our families, our parents, my parents, Frazier's parents, they paved the way for us. Now we're doing it to your generation. We're paving the way to you. But when you have people close to my age, such as this Tommy guy and this Jabari guy and all these other people that know it's wrong, but yet again, they're only doing it for either maybe publicity or they're trying to do it for like camera time or this and that. That's pathetic. Come on, guys. Come on. You want camera time? Do one of those stupid YouTube shorts or something on the beach. There's your camera time. Don't bring children. You know what's wrong. We want to pave the way for Sasha's generation. Let's pave the way for his generation to bring us forward for the next 40, 50 plus years.
Because pretty soon I'm going to have to do the same too.
Yeah. So, anyway, guys, I'm going to get going. Guys, I want to thank Frazier here. I want to thank Sas. I had to get this out, guys, because I was very heated on this show. I was showing a side of me that is usually more a little bit out, you know, unhinged and savage. But, you know, it's about our kids, man. It touches me a lot because I'm a father, and I couldn't even imagine if my daughter was younger than she is now and she was exposed to this, you know, I'd honest with you folks, I'll say this over the air. I would probably be in prison for what I would do to somebody that ever brought my daughter to this type of behavior. I would be in prison because I'd probably beat the living shit out of that person. You know?
Oh yeah, we'll be together.
Oh yeah, we'll be sharing a cell together. Yeah,
Just don't drop the soap.
Oh no. You wear it around the neck.
Yeah,
that's the rule. Yeah? So, Frazier, I want to thank you, buddy. You can plug your stuff in, man. I'll give you plug-in time. Go ahead, bud.
Oh, so just follow me on all my Instagram. On Instagram, I'm on all major podcasting platforms. Frazier Chronicles, one word. I'm happy to chat with anybody. And if you come on, just be ready for the real. You know, it's no fake. We're gonna be real, 100%. So just make sure you follow us all. I mean, we're a family, and that's what I'm. You know, and you see, we're all from different type of races and backgrounds. So you know, it's not but love over here. It's not but love. I have love for all of you guys on here. Sauce, you included. Michael, you included. You know. And it's a friendship for life. So I'm gonna say that on here. It's a friendship for life, and I'm 100%. You know, I'm loyal to these guys. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, appreciate that. You know, you're like, you know what you remind me of? The male version of Candace Owens.
Yeah,
which was brought up tonight. That name was brought up tonight, Candace Owens. That she is somewhat of a disgrace to her own race, which I think is disgusting. I mean, the woman is standing up for her community, and now all of a sudden she's a disgrace. Okay, yeah. Sash, your turn, buddy. I'm going to give you, because now it's about plugins, because these guys deserve it, because they've been on the show for, God, over an hour now. So,
So you are more than welcome to follow me on the Sauce Report, and tune in for tomorrow as Michael and I are going to break down Sports Wednesday. It will be our final Sports Wednesday before we're going to switch it to Sports Friday, because one of us is starting school on Monday. Who's ready for college?
Yeah.
And so we're going to do Sports Wednesday tomorrow, the final Sports Wednesday. And you're welcome to follow me on Facebook, Sassim Timonson, as well as on Twitter and on TikTok. I got out of TikTok jail, so just follow me on the Sauce Report Official. So I made 2 accounts. So you have to get one too, Michael, again. Second time.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. But, guys, I just came back to Florida. It's been a wild weekend. It was good. The trip coming back was a little bit more pleasant. I had the layover in Atlanta. Wasn't as bad as going up there, but yeah, Frazier, I was up in Milwaukee doing a movie shoot. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
I had a Motel 6 experience.
Yeah.
Experience.
It was an experience. Yeah, I had to go to another hotel. I had to go to this hotel in downtown at the Hilton, and it was actually closer to the shoot, to the set. So I had a really awesome experience. Yeah. What's that?
It was a Sauce experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I went from 29 degrees to now. Right now on my phone it says it's 74 degrees here in Central Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was really good, really nice, awesome experience. You know, thank you very much, Universal Studios, for allowing me to come on. Can't give out names for contract issues. God knows what they'll do to me if I do. They'll probably plug me off the. I don't need that. It's been great. Guys, I want to plug in the book here real quick. Remember, guys, the ebook is now available. America's Political Warfare, Our Modern Civil War, available for ebook at $6. It's also available at Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Amazon China, Amazon Japan, all over Amazon. The soft cover, I'm told, is going to be dropping off in phases. Now, the first phase, I'm told, will be on Amazon.com tomorrow afternoon. Friday around 4 p.m. Eastern, I believe that Barnes & Noble will be the first marquee to release it. shortly after Barnes & Noble will be Books A Million. And then by next Monday, it should be on Walmart and Target bookshelves. So you're going to want to check that out. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how many copies. I know Amazon releases the amount of large copies on it, but I got to ask the publisher how many copies each store puts out, because it depends on the section. Obviously, if you're in a city, I'm sure there's probably going to be like 20 copies or maybe 50 copies, and then after that, then I have to see if they're gonna reshelf it or not. But and the soft cover I dropped. It was $14.95, brought it down to $12.99, folks. So really affordable. Look out for some promo codes in the next couple of weeks. We're going to give out some promo codes on both versions, the ebook. So if you can't afford $6, I'll bring it down to $1. How's that? That's in 2 weeks. And if you can't afford $12.99, we'll bring it down to $6. So that's in 2 weeks. Gotta wait. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks very much, Frazier. Keep on doing what you're doing, brother. Love you. Sauce.
Yes, sir.
Love you too, man.
You too. So, all right.
Yeah. And remember, guys, keep it savage. I'm out of here. Later.